Saturday, isn't it? Saturday at 10 o'clock. Nearly 10 o'clock. How's everybody been? I'm just going to do something quickly. The video tonight was how I became an alcoholic. And it's a complex question, isn't it? We're all different, aren't we? How do we become alcoholics? How would you become an alcoholic? There's a lot of different ways, but a lot of them seem to take a similar pattern in that we start off as teenagers drinking, don't we? It seems to be just in our society. How you look alright? And it's so normal to meet with your mates when you're 14, 15 and have an experiment with a drink, isn't it? In the days when I was young, it's a while ago now, however, nobody experimented with drugs and it was always drink, wasn't it? Hi Chris, how you doing? It was always drink. Nobody had any drugs when I was a young man. I think drugs are more prevalent now, but let me know how you became an alcoholic, because I think I started normally, if that makes sense. 14, 15, I had a few, I started work, and then I met other people, and it was normal to go to the pub after work. I was an engineer first before I became a policeman. I hated engineering, bollocks job that was. I wasn't interested in it. I should have stuck it, really. I probably would have done quite well. And then when I got in the police, it was like, I was dealing with a lot of older people. I met sort of more seasoned drinkers. People who were, I don't know, older, maybe I thought were wiser, and who knew what they were doing. I followed their lead, really. My mother's always said that I'm easily led, you know what I mean? Being social, like I reckon the 90% of the population getting and drinking. Yeah, it is social, but how do we get into alcoholism itself? A lot of people can be social and it never bothers them. But what makes us become an alcoholic? Why did I drink every night instead of just 2 nights a week? That's what I'm saying, you know. There was no trigger there. I think I just enjoyed it too much. And I reckon I had problems in my late 20s, to be honest. I didn't want to face. Dee Dee, good evening, how are you doing? Underlying issues at your mask with drink. I didn't really have any, well, yeah, there was a cure. I didn't have any underlying issues, I don't think. A little bit shy at school. Once I joined the police, I was all right. I saw other people doing it. I think because I saw other people doing it, I thought it was good for me, if that makes sense. But I don't think that, I'm just trying to see these screen without glasses. I don't think, none of us start out and think, well, we're going to be alcoholics, do we? We just start with normal drinking and it just leads on to something else. And then maybe we do use alcohol to mask other problems, to deal with things, to deal with anxiety and stress. We see it as a good thing to do, don't we? I think what happens is, you know, it's never been a good thing to do, because I used to get hangovers and not withdrawal, but hangovers. And what happens is, when you get a hangover, you feel rough, don't you? But when you're young, this feeling of rough, it doesn't last long. You can bounce out of bed and go back to work. Everything's fine. Yeah, I became an alcoholic through too much practice. It's a good point, though, actually. Yeah, just too much. That was what I said the other night. Too much practice becomes a habit, isn't it? And the habit then becomes an addiction. But it doesn't with everybody. But most of us here, I'd imagine, are problem drinkers. I mean, somebody called it AUD, alcohol use disorder, rather than saying alcoholics. It's all the same. Maybe it's a better expression than alcoholics. But I enjoyed it when I was young. And I think if you've got a high tolerance to it, it's easier to fall into it. And apparently, the younger you start, the more chance of becoming an alcoholic. It seems like common sense, that. But not everyone becomes an alcoholic, do they? I knew lots of people who drank a lot of drink when I was a teenager and experimented with drugs. And I've had a reasonable life, but watching videos, I always wondered what you're collecting about X-Lloyds of London. Right? That would have gone mad in the 80s. I used to drink in the Golden Fleece, EC4. in the 80s. It was a crazy time, plenty of money about. Yeah, so a lot of people can drink and not become alcoholics, even though they take in the same amount of alcohol. I don't know if it's genetic. It's something which has baffled the medical profession for years, isn't it? Why do some people become alcoholics? Peter, some people say if you don't have withdrawal symptoms, I assume that's rubbish. Well, I think everyone has hangovers. People say, oh, I never got a hangover. Well, I got a hangover every time I drank. Too much. I had 2 cans of beer, wasn't a problem when I was 17, but if I had 10 pints, I'd always have a hangover. People just work through it. I've got a few friends though, who drink a lot, and they get it for work still, and they're in the 60s. No, not CDs, trippy, they are. It's wallpaper with a book image on it. I couldn't read all them. I don't read much anyway. My partner keeps saying you should read more. I can't be bothered reading. I haven't got time. That's my excuse. So we don't all, a lot of us drank the same amount. Not everybody becomes an alcoholic. But when you become an alcoholic, problem drinker, or alcohol use disorder, I still see them sometimes. When it gets AUD, alcohol use disorder, then you tend to mix with alcoholics. You see what I mean? So you don't set out to be an alcoholic, and you don't really relate to them. Hi, old school Paul, how are you doing? You don't relate to them, but because you're in that frame or in that sort of mindset, then most of the people you associate with heavy drinkers or problem drinkers, I would say, and that becomes an issue for you. And everyone takes a different path. But I don't think I drank because of stress, you know. Or you just let the city drinking culture. Yes, it's bad, the city drinking. Teddy, thanks for that, yeah. If you enjoy this, please like and subscribe. If you're new viewers, welcome to all the old folk. All the old folk. I've only been doing it a few days, but welcome to everybody, basically, new and old, as it were. We're building a good community with these lives, I think. It's working for a lot of people. Because this time of night, as I've said before, it's a time where people get lonely, a bit stressed, and maybe reach for the ball. Because you can do things during the day. I mean, I was really at a terrible state where I couldn't walk or anything. But if I turn the clock back when I was 40 and I can still do things, when I was off the booze, I used to get a bit bored. I used to go to the gym and things like that, but the gym would finish at 9 and then you'd sit and think, what am I going to do now? And there's a temptation to drink, isn't it? There is a temptation to drink when you're on your own. Hello, Neil, how are you? When you're on your own, you think, oh, I'm going to have another drink. I'm going to have the first one, have another one for 6 months. And that's what starts the ball running again, you know? And you've got to be very wary of that, anybody who's been off it. So let me know what your thoughts on what sort of age you became an alcoholic. Hi Neil, again, because that's a pivotal thing, that what age. The guys I'm speaking to on the mentoring side of it all seem to have a similar sort of pattern to it. Teenage, 20s, getting married, well, obviously women as well, that's men, and all 9 good days, 9. You know, so you get this this sort of age thing as well. 30s, people have got more stress in their life because they're in the sort of middle of the career path, financial worries, buying houses, children, all this sort of kind, you know, and that makes a big difference in people's lives. If you're getting value out of these videos, then please look at this super chat button, because it allows me to keep on with these videos, and to, you know, to get more equipment and do more research for you. And I want us to pull together and do this, make it big, you know. And there's a lot of expertise on here, as in there's medical people, there's people from law enforcement, all sorts of backgrounds here. Ship's captains a lot, and people with a lot of experience of how ill they were and how they recovered. There's a couple of people on here actually who've had liver transplants and live a normal life now, which is fantastic, isn't it? When you think that the complications of having a liver transplant are massive. A lot of people die on the slab, you know. It's a horrendous thing, this alcohol. We need to stick together. And let's make it bigger and better than the AA. We discussed that last night a little bit, the AA. I don't know if anybody's had any positive dealings with them, but they seem to be helping people, but it wasn't for me. The AA just wasn't for me. It was a thing I sort of looked at, went to a couple of meetings and thought, well, it didn't really do that much for me, because it wasn't my thing. I did tell my story a couple of times, but we just listened to the same old thing. That's the problem. Like, they couldn't really ask any questions. If you've got any questions, fire them in, you know? Because if I can't answer them, somebody else in here will. What helped me? What helped me was a doctor who said I was going to die. I've always been quite an extreme person. And it took that long for me to realise that my life would be over. I didn't stop. I've been told, warned, you know, many times, as some of you would have been. And I'll use this analogy again about the skin cancer. If you're told you've got skin cancer, you won't go in the sun. But we keep drinking. We keep drinking, even though it's doing us harm. And that's when you're going to get into real danger. And why we do it, I don't know. Day 5, Robert, that's great. You know, well done if anybody's getting sober on here. Well done to you. It encourages others, you know. The amount of people that we get that are sober, then other people will see that the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, there is help. Drinkers are gamblers. Sometimes there are people in this chat that will die early due to alcohol. 100%. 100%. Yeah, you're gambling with your lives. That's what you're doing. Don't know how I became an alcoholic. My dad died when I was 12 because of his. Bloody hell. Jonathan, are we alcoholics? Strong words. Well, yeah, well, I'm alcohol dependent. I'm alcohol dependent, definitely. Ever had a blackout due to alcohol? Yeah, I've had a blackout before. A couple of times in Epping Forest, just found myself in the morning there. It can't be done. It can be done, Neil, yeah. You can recover. There's people on here now posting. So if you're struggling, like I was, and I didn't think I'd ever recover, I didn't. But 6, 7 years ago, I was on just the verge of nothing. I was an empty person. And here I am, you know, trying to help people and engaging with you, fine people. Day 2, 5, 6, Peter, that's good. Peter, how have you found it? Because you're coming up to nearly a year now, aren't you? Because once you've cracked the first year, it seems ridiculous. If somebody told me in 2019 I could be sober for a year, I wouldn't have believed them. And now I'm 5.5 years. The first couple of hours is hard, you know? Yeah, Martin, I agree with that. You're always an alcoholic if you've been one. Yeah, I think so. Well, in fact, I know so, because an alcoholic or a person with alcohol use disorder cannot just have 1 or 2. They'll be taken straight back. Isn't there a picture of you when? Yeah, there's a few in the post. There's some terrible pictures. Focus every day. Yeah, I've done that, Luke. It's in the post, but I might be able to get away to put it on here. There's some images on. But most people know that I was, you know, critically ill. That's what you said to me in the hospital, the doctor. You're seriously ill, and you got cirrhosis. And it was brought on to me. Like, there was no like counselling or anything. They said, by the way, but we've got to tell you you've got cirrhosis of the liver. And it's very serious. Well, obviously I knew it was serious. The emotional impact of that was horrendous. But even after being in the hospital, you know, for 2 years or so, I still felt maybe I should just have one. And you can't control it though. Why we can't control it, I don't know. I'm not an expert in that field. I'm an expert in how it can harm you. I remember day 3 and 4, getting sober in 93. Doctor asked me where I saw myself in 5 years, and that stopped me. But that's a good point. Yeah, wind the clock forward. 3.5 years sober, but could still go on. Yeah, of course, John. We could all go in the pub and meet each other up, meet them, have a few drinks. That's the power of addiction. I was speaking to a surgeon. I was in hospital for nearly 2 years, and he was a top liver surgeon, transplant guy. And I said to many people who've been through the liver transplant, drinking again, he said it quite a lot. Surprising, isn't it? You've been through all that because they assume they got a new liver, but there's other things that have been damaged. And a lot of it's psychological as well. You know, with anxiety and that sort of thing. Thanks, Dave, for the donation on the other channel. And a lot of people will die. You know, religious, Robert, no, not at all religious. Not at all, really. I would like to think there's something out there, but I'm not religious. I patrol the streets of London in the middle of the night. I've never seen any ghosts. Never been attacked by a ghost. I've noticed anything supernatural. Other than, you know, a few shooting stars. That's about it, really. I'm not really religious at all. Well, it helps people. I don't know. I mean, I must admit, when I went in for an operation once, I did say, you know, make a prayer and say goodbye to life, sort of thing. But I'm not religious. That's not one of the things I've looked at, you know. But we've got to try and be strong here, because if we're not strong, people on here will die. Dating was the biggest relapse because same with me, Peter, actually. I've been out for a couple of years and thought I'll go dating. I used to think I'll have 1 or 2, and then by day 4 or 5, I was fully on it. You'd walk through a cemetery at night and not be scared. Oh, I've never been scared of anything, Deborah. And the thing I was scared of was my ex-wife. That's serious. Did you find you had very vivid dreams? Yeah, massive dreams. Cemetery's just the same as walking through a park, isn't it? You know, going through a tennis court, there's no difference. There's a lot of dead bodies in there, but they're not going to do anything to you. My dad, who died 4 years ago, he said you need to be scared of the live ones, not the dead ones. They don't do anything, are they? So if you benefit from the channel, please hit the super chat button. It'll allow me to keep going with this. I want to build this up to a massive amount. I want to get 1,000 people by Christmas. I saw someone else sleeping in a tent in the cemetery. Well, yeah. This help is needed, so many people. Yeah. Do you have any alcohol in your house? No. My health now is good. Normal liver function test. No medication. Perfect blood pressure. Go to the gym every day if I can. No problems at all. Very vivid dreams. Very vivid dreams, Neil. That's a really strange one. The thing is, when you're drinking, you don't sleep properly. I used to get sweats and anxiety, and I used to worry so much about the next day. You'd have had nothing on. When you wake up in the middle of the night, you go to well, I mean, if you're drinking heavily, you tend to just fall asleep, don't you? Sleep in a cemetery, yeah. Why would somebody sleep in a cemetery in a tent? I don't know. Live in Gateshead, are you local for help? Yeah, Martin. If you go into the description on the latest video I've done, there's a number on there. Just text me. So if you want to drink alcohol. Occasionally, once if we go away, maybe for a holiday or something. But not regularly, no. But my ex-wife didn't drink at all, and I was a very heavy drinker. It wouldn't have any impact on me if my partner drank. I became a compulsive liar. Compulsive liar and cheat. Yeah, that's what we become. I went from a nice guy to being a liar. Not a cheat, but a cheat, yeah, I suppose a cheat. Hiding bank statements, concealing the evidence, as it were. Hiding alcohol in fields, hiding it under the bath panel, hiding it in parts of the rafters, in the spare rooms, in the loft, in the garage, outside in the garden, everywhere I could think of. And I even asked a neighbour if I could put some in his spare bin. Robert, I don't see my experience. It's been divorced 25 years. You know, it's a lifetime, isn't it? My daughter's 31 now. A lot of water passed under the bridge. Was it always just beer of no, always lagers. Ninja, thanks very much. 15 years, amazing, yeah. 15 years dry, that was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. What I was talking about last night was trying to get, if we get 1,000 people, there's 1,000 people who are like hardcore here. We could maybe help each other do something positive and maybe hire a hall or something, do a couple of venues in the UK. I'm talking about next year here. I mean, this has only been going 14 months. I think stress and anxiety are a root cause. So, yeah, it's a good point. Good point. It doesn't work. 10 years sober, fantastic. I do hope you're well. Hi, Rachel. How are you doing? I haven't spoken to you for ages. Are you still running and getting fit? That was very good of you when you started all that motivational stuff. Did you ever commit self-harm? No. I did have some bad thoughts about I'm not going to live and I'm going to get depressed and all that, you know. But I never had any self-harm issues or anything like that. No. I'm too scared. I was so frightened when I was in hospital. So frightened. I've never been frightened of anything more than a bad diagnosis. Good debating topic. Is that your way of saying I'm not arguing? Yeah, possibly, yeah. No, the debating topic was the fact that I drink this non-alcoholic beer sometimes. I let guilt and shame keep me drinking. Sometimes, yeah. I think what happened with me, I was so far gone. There were triggers all over the place to keep drinking. And the biggest one was fear of collapsing, fear of not a stroke, a seizure, and fear of feeling terrible all the time. That was the problem. You know, I just felt so rough. I didn't eat anything for months, really. I just had a bit of peanuts, a bit of cheese, a bit of black pudding, whatever. I used to sit up all night just about and listen to these talk shows. You know, the lunatics come on and talk about the cat. Hi, so, you know, these crazy people that talk about the stupid things in their life, you know. So, you know, I had no life. You have no life if you drink. Frank, Stephen, you do a great job. Thank you. Thanks. I said, if you benefit from the channel, please hit the super chat button. It will help me to help you, if that makes sense. Getting back to what I was saying before, let's get 1,000 people. I think we could manage to get 1,000 people here. People you know, you must know people with drink problems. A bottle of vodka on each Wellington boot. The wife never went near my fishing gear. Yeah, there you go. It's alcohol is 100% success rate of pulling you back. Alcohol does pull you back. If you're a problem, if you've got alcohol use disorder, if you're an alcoholic, I keep saying alcoholic. That's because I'm old-fashioned. You can't drink one. And if you have 100, it's not enough. That sort of thing. There's all these different phrases come out. You can't go to the pub and just have one drink. What's going to happen to you is you're going to have 10. You're going to die young. If you're addicted to alcohol, you will die 10 years younger than the general population. Since starting ADHD meds, it has killed my cravings to drink quite a lot. That's good. I've never had ADHD, although my partner jokes and a half because I'm a bit hyper. That's only because I find this quite an exciting thing to do because I'm saying I'm getting some benefits from it myself and for others. Got myself from drinking, mate. That's a good thing, yeah. Keep yourself away from people who drink. What will happen as well if you get sober is that the people you used to drink with will then see you as a bit of a threat. Because I don't know anybody who's got sober who's regretted it. So basically, what happens is that they disassociate themselves from you. And you'll go in and speak to them, they'll be talking just rubbish, you know. And what happens is, you don't stay long. And then from that, they see you getting a little bit better. They see you looking a bit better. Maybe you got a bit of money, you buy some new clothes, buy yourself a car. You might have a new relationship. Go on a holiday. All this sort of thing. They're doing things that normal folk do. And they'll get very jealous of that. And they become, I don't know, not enemies, but there's a few in the pub I'll go to. And sometimes I go in and wind them up. Not wind them up, but I sometimes think, well, Wetherspoon's only $2.60 for a little Guinness thing. I'm not going to pay £6 next door. Mizulo's company, that's a good point, yeah. I see them in the pub, they sit in the same seats, same table all year round, you know. They're always telling the same jokes. It's not even jokes, is it? It's just crap they talk. That's the problem. I don't think I ever talked rubbish like them. I think I was quite a good drunk. I was never drunk as a point of fighting or causing trouble. I mean, I was a law enforcement officer, wasn't I? I was always laughing. I'm just happy to go lucky as I am now. I've got quite a cavalier attitude to life, you know. I don't really care much. I'm not jealous of anybody. I'm doing all right. As long as I'm doing all right myself, and the family's doing all right, my partner's doing all right, I'm happy with that. I don't think, oh God, that guy's got a Ferrari. Because I know I'm all right with an old Mercedes. Do you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't mind a Ferrari, but I'm probably not going to get one. And it wouldn't do me any good anyway. So my point is, I'm not jealous, I'm not screwed up. A lot of these people are jealous and screwed up because you do well. People like to see you down. I've got a relative, an uncle, who was good as gold when I was really ill. And then I turned up at a family function with my fiance. Not my new fiance, my fiance. He never spoken to me since, because we've been on holiday a few times. Pure jealousy. You're great when I was ill. Thanks, Rachel. How are you doing? Right? It must be 6 months I've spoken to you. You know, so the jealousy, even in your own family, because everyone wants to see you down. If you start to progress, you know, like isn't a troll question about it. Oh, go on then. Give me the question. I'll answer it. The troll people don't bother me. I don't give a toss. The more the merrier, to be honest with you. More comments, the better for me. I'm here to dance them, aren't I? You know, I'm not worried about people telling me I'm a dickhead. I've had enough of that in the police. Actually, it was my wife who called me a dickhead more than anybody. My ex-wife. I'm used to that sort of kind. I know some people are sensitive, but I'm not. I'm sensitive in other ways, but certainly not to abuse. Have you read Rational? No, look, I haven't really had a lot of. Don't really read a lot. I haven't had a lot of research into that. I'm more sort of practical, but I will get around to it. I say this has been going 14 months. Keep it simple. Move on. Never forget. Do not pick up the first drink. That's super sure. Yeah, that's the thing. Do not pick up the first drink. We all know Paul Gascoigne, don't we? And the only good thing he ever says really is don't pay with the first drink. How do you deal with family members that you tell and they show them they're not telling the truth? Family members, it just goes in general. Look after yourself. Don't worry about other people. We're still running, enjoying this heat wave, still sober. Look at you. And you, Rachel, I'm glad you're still sober. Rachel's been sober a while now. Congratulations to her. Congratulations to anybody who's sober. And congratulations to everybody in here. Because everybody in here wants to be sober, don't they? They're not wasting their time with me. They want to go back in the piss. They're here because they want to get sober. And I'm going to help you. And we are going to help each other. That's the thing. I didn't see it. Can you post the question again? There's a lot of... As more comments come in, they go quicker. So Evil Bob, if you put the question up again, I'll have a slow read of it. Or as best I can, you know. Yeah, so focus on yourself. Don't feel pressurised to drink. Because people will say, why don't you drink? Why don't you just have one? Do you not drink on holiday? Why don't you have one with Sunday lunch? Why don't you have a glass of wine with a steak? Just don't have any. Just tell them. The mistake I made in 2014 was to tell a girl I met that I was getting fit and all this carry on. And just about an alcoholic, I said no. My fiancée, I told her straight away, because she's a sensible girl, she's very intelligent. And she recognised that I was sober. And she's helped me a lot with this channel and things like that. So, you know, you've got to, if you're with the right person, it helps. A lot of people are on their own. Hello, Stephen, go on these binges for no reason. It's good, bad. Nebby, look in the description. There's a number you can get in touch with me. That's a good woman, very good woman. Yeah. Some women don't understand. If you've recovered from something, you should be congratulated. But there's still a stigma to, you know, alcohol use disorder. How do you meet your current missus? Obviously not in the pub. Well, that's a bit private. That look, I'll look into that. You should do a more in-depth look at your house during the addiction. Oh, I haven't got any photos. Hello, Caroline. Thanks for that. The house itself was, well, the flat was, it was mouldy, damp, had rats in it, no heating, no hot water, obviously, because no heating. And the bathroom floor collapsed. I couldn't let anybody in. I mean, I had enough money, but I didn't let anybody in. I would have frightened. Too nervous, too anxious to let people in, and too embarrassed to let people to fix it, you know. It was absolutely horrendous. Thanks for the donation, Pete. That's really good. I'll say if you hit the super chat thing, and all donations are welcome because they'll help me to push this further, and I want to make it the best channel, not just here, but in the world, the biggest. And I want to do it for you as well. Paul, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Let's make it really, really beneficial, because hundreds of thousands of people die every year of alcohol problems. And it's not just the death rate, you know, it's the people who are disabled, the people who have to go to hospital for regular treatments, the people who've got kidney dialysis, the people who've got liver issues, the people who've got pancreatitis, the people who've had strokes and heart attacks, all because of booze. And there's a lot of suicides linked to booze, you know. And a lot of cancers. I've been sober 17 years and you've recovered. Yeah, we never recover from alcoholism. That's incredible. Somebody that's 17 years, fantastic that he's been 17 years sober. And he said he's still an alcoholic. Yeah, I think we all are. It's in the head, isn't it? Even if you're past, you know, the 5-year, 10-year stage. You see, when I was off for 8 years, I had a great time. I looked at myself. Clara. Sweden says low, sober in Stockholm, 30 months, well done. I bet Stockholm's a nice place. Looks up. I'm 55, too late for me. No, it's not. DD, £50. Oh, that's amazing. What a fantastic donation that is. £50, Mr. DD. That is incredible. I can't thank you enough for that, because that'll keep me going. It really will. Thanks for that. You know, it's superb when somebody gives you that sort of donation, and it's going to a good cause. It's going to help us all, you know. And it'll really make a difference to a lot of people's lives if I can keep this going strongly like this. You can all be involved in this. You can save somebody's life. You come on here, you talk to each other, something will trigger you, you know, and you can think, well, that guy said this, I did that, I played some music, I didn't drink, I went for a walk instead of having a drink, I went to have a sauna because I didn't drink, and all this sort of thing. You know, it's incredible to be involved in something like this. You know, so if you can like look at it like that, you're helping other people. That's a big motivator, you know. There's nothing better than helping people, is there? You know, if you can help people, then you can feel good about yourself. It's a massive motivator. It's impossible to become a social drinker. Yeah, I agree with that. It's impossible to be a social drinker if you're an alcoholic. Totally impossible. Because you just can't do it. I say it just sits there. It sits here, and you become. It traps you forever. Alcoholism actually traps you, and it's just a nonsense, really, because you assume that this one drink. I'm just this sound here. What the sound? Yeah. Right. Okay. So, can you all hear me? Okay. It traps you so much that you're in a rut, and you can't get out of it. And somebody once described it as you're on the edge of a cliff and you suddenly fall, but you can't get back. That's what that's when you've fallen off. That's stage 4, where you just can't recover from that, and you never get back unless you stop. And you've got to be sensible about stopping as well. I didn't realise that I would have a seizure. I mean, I came up to Northumberland in my 40s, and my parents said, "You have to stop. You have to stop." But I've been drinking quite a lot, and what happened was, I went out to the local town, had a seizure. But I felt terrible that morning. It was quite a warm morning. I can't remember what month it was. A long time ago now. And I woke up from the seizure on the high street, and I signed a disclaimer I wouldn't go to hospital. But about 4 hours later, I felt terrible at my parents' house, and my dad took me to hospital and had another seizure. Enough licenses a liquor store. Thanks, JD, for clarifying that. So basically, the seizure I had, I was in hospital, and then I got diazepam, which helps you to come off it, you know. So for the last 13 years on and off, I had 3 months off at the start of the year. We all have our ups and downs, you know, relapses and things like that. And that was another thing. Another thing I'll come on to here. If you're off it, stay off it, because the more you go back, the worse it gets. And you know, it gets to the point where you get back on it again, and every time it's worse. Every time you relapse, coming off it or coming down a bit is going to get worse for you. That's the problem. Why do you think some people become alcoholics or heavy drinkers and others don't? That's highly. I'm asking that now. I'm not sure. Another thing I'll mention, a lot of the people I speak to and support, very similar to me, the caring, kind, compassionate people, and they're overthinkers. And what happens is, that's where it starts off the anxiety. And we've got anxiety to start with, but it's amplified when you have this sort of personality. The meathead type community, the hard men, don't seem to get all this, you know. But we do. As I said before, thanks so much for this donation. If anybody else can hit the super chat thing, it'll all help the channel. It'll help me to keep processing these videos and get some better sound equipment. I'm going to get a proper microphone and get a bigger screen. I'm going to start doing them on the computer as well, when I've got that set up. So you've got to be very careful of getting into the relapse situation. There's so many pitfalls to this. It's only when you're off it, and then you feel quite secure off it, that you've got any chance of being off for life. Because I couldn't go back on it now. I let too many people down. My partner, you know, one person really let down. And I thought about this the other day. I see my consultant. I've seen the same consultant for 6 years, right? I see her twice a year now. I was seeing her every couple of weeks. But as my health improved, then it became less. And I see the smile on her face when I walk in the surgery, you know, at the hospital or whatever. And she's like beaming. And she said, "I'm so pleased to see you doing so well," you know. And I wouldn't have let her down, or my daughter. Because my daughter came into hospital, you know, when I was really ill. Because January 20, I was probably the worst state I've ever been. Because it's on your records. And I had low sodium and things like that. It's just problems with the liver, ascites, fluid and all that. Hi Dennis, how are you doing? And I was really ill. My daughter came in and said, "I don't want you to die," because I only found this out a few weeks ago. I want you to walk me down the aisle, because my daughter's now with a partner, engaged, and got a baby and this sort of thing, you know. I mean, what if my son-in-law to be said, you know, Katie was crying when she left the hospital, and I never saw that, and I felt so fucking emotionally drained then. Just recently that was, and what I must have put her through, you know, the things we put other people through because of our own selfish nature. And thanks, Luke. That's good of you. I'll get in touch and we'll get that sorted out for a mic. I can tell how much you drink from your blood. Funny enough, Frank, bringing that in, I had normal blood tests come back when I had cirrhosis. My blood comes back as normal even though I've got damage. So liver disease is classed as a silent killer. And what happens is a lot of time is missed until you get a scan for something else. Hello, Nick. How are you doing? Are we doing well? I'm just talking generally about emotions and things. About my daughter. When my daughter came in and said, "I don't need to die," there's lots of things going with alcohol. Yeah, the bloods. So blood can show normal. So you can get a try and get a scan, which will show any damage on the liver. And that's a big thing as well. And just try to look after yourself. Even if you can't stop yet, change your diet a bit. Eat some decent fruit, fruit and veg. Get some decent food. I mean, I try and have a really healthy diet now. I think, well, I'm not going to drink. Can't drink. It doesn't cost much to have a healthy diet, DD, thank you very much for that donation. I really appreciate that. Really do. More than you realise. I'll speak to you soon. And you can buy fruit and veg. You can buy a couple of bananas for 20 pence. Tomorrow and just some apples, mix it up, put in the liquidizer. You can get a liquidizer Asda from 15 quid. Be proactive. Hi, is it done? Evening. Be proactive with your health. Get yourself for a walk. Maybe get yourself to the gym. Maybe get yourself a little holiday. You'll save a lot of money. The only issue a lot of people have, well, one of the issues a lot of people have, is boredom. If you add up in a week, how many hours you spend drinking and recovering, withdrawal is like hell on earth. Wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Very true. Right? The amount of hours you spend drinking, recovering, and all the rest of it, you can do a lot with that time. And people get bored, don't they? And you've got to get to something that is healthy as a hobby, or do something which you used to do when you were younger. And when you get sober, then you can do more things, can't you? I never had jaundice, or no. I was on my usual recovery walk. A bloke I don't know came over and said to me, "I'm here because I related to you on the socials." That's good, isn't it? Yeah. Well done, look. So, when you start to recover, just stay on that path. Stay on the healthy road. Oh, my friend, what's that videos? Hi, Animal 79. Luke, thank you for helping me channel. Boredom is the first step towards relapse. 100%. Yeah, you've got to stop. Boredom's difficult unless you focus. You've got to focus on being positive, I suppose, and be positive and be proactive in looking after yourself, and be proactive in how you're doing with your mental health as well as your fitness. I mean, the gym group, I think it's so important to me. That's a good point. Yeah, put the gym in the hold at the moment. This chap just said, there's a very good point here. When you've got alcohol issues, as I had, and we have as a group, we know other things like toothache, maybe a mark on your skin, all this sort of things, and they can be all problematic. So it increases your chance of further illness. I did a video about that a little while ago, doing another one. You're so focused on feeling ill with the alcohol, and you're so scared to go to the doctors in case they stick you in hospital, that you don't go and get anything else checked. I didn't get my teeth checked for 10 years. I've got good teeth now. I had paid for them. I just downed a couple of JDs and Coke and thinking of hitting the town. So, well, it's up to you, isn't it? People can still drink. Again, if you are benefiting from the videos, then please hit the super chat, super stickers thing. This is quite new to me, so I'm just trying to build it up as time goes on and get more of us involved in it. Make it stronger, make it a place where somebody can come along, chat without being judged. And that's very important, because I couldn't speak to anybody about my alcohol issues. Couldn't tell my work, couldn't really tell anybody. I didn't want to tell my family either, because they didn't understand. People still don't understand, Exactly, Pedro, there's no judgment. People don't understand anything about it. All the people will say to you, including doctors, mind, cut down a bit, taper off, go for a run, go to the gym. That only works. You only go to the gym when you're completely sober. I couldn't even walk in my getting the fucking gym. Yeah, I know if I relapse and I'm going back to hell. Over 20 years, so it's fantastic. Over 20 years, well done, Didi, amazing. That's the longest one so far, 20 years. Martin, so regular heavy drinkers in the outside area today. Yeah, they're all over the place. I've seen you into the zero. Do you find these help? I do actually. A lot of people criticise me for that, but when I was off for 8 years, I drank them as well. I drank for emotional reasons, not because I had a craving. The only time I had a craving when I was working in the West End of London and I was just so thirsty. And I like to hit with a few drinks, but that's past now. I've said before, I drank a lot when I was younger, and basically, it was a habit, wasn't it? And it was a bit of a release. But that chapter finished when I was about 30. We got to live in stages, Our young crazy days are finished. They're well gone. Mine are well gone, and I'm into a new set of rules and regulations, I suppose. As my late father said, grow up, for fuck's sake, grow up. We've got to grow up and grow out of this, haven't we? It didn't do us any good. We're not running around nightclubs and things. I drink to forget, I drink to remember. I just play out old depressing scenario. Well, that's the problem. Don't trip here. That's his name. It is a depressant. And that's what I mean about overthinking. We're all overthinkers, aren't we? It makes you ill. Alcohol. It makes your mind ill. Your mind's ill, your body's going to be ill. There's 60 people engaged on here at the moment. Let's try and get 100 engaged. If you know anybody else, text them, ask them to join. We'll get 100. I mean, that'll be a tenth of the way to 1,000. 1,000 on here one night would be good, wouldn't it? We could do that for Christmas Eve. Get 1,000 people talking here. Be incredibly busy. And that's what you need. You need a good, busy community who's going to support each other. You can donate a little bit of money, keep the channel going, get it bigger. What about national TV? I actually got a call from, I had a couple of chances to get on Sky News, just missed them back because of a correspondent issue. But I did a newspaper article. I'm on the Chronicle Live. I've got the Chronicle Live and also the Sunday Sun, which is a northern paper. But it was around Christmas time. I was on the front page there. I had a call from Sky News last Thursday about a story running soon. I'm hopefully going to get onto Sky News as well. When I get on there, I'll tell them all about you, if you want me to tell them about you, or the channel. Could be massive exposure. We as a group can help people. Because the NHS is shit scared of this, I went to have a meeting 2 weeks ago with the NHS alcohol care team at the RVI, which is a big hospital in Newcastle. And there's a specialist liver nurse there and a doctor I spoke to. And they both said that people are dying younger of cirrhosis and alcohol related disease. Nick Field, fantastic noise, and that's another £10 towards the growing the channel. Thanks very much, Nick. I really appreciate that. Donations are really appreciated because we can keep this bigger and stronger, and that's what I aim to do. And I think over the last few days we've done incredibly well. We've got some people on here who are now regulars, and we're going to keep it going. It's a place to come safe. You're not going to be judged, you don't be criticised or anything at all, So this team at the hospital was saying that people are dying younger of cirrhosis, and they're actually worried about it now. The NHS are worried about the increase in alcoholism. You see media articles about younger people not drinking as much. Now, this specialist nurse was saying they're not drinking as much, as in they're not drinking regularly, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But when they go out, they're drinking stronger drinks. The lagers are 6-7% now, some of them. When I drank as a youngster, I was on 3.5-4%. Again, thanks for those 2 donations, fantastic. From Nick and from DD, incredibly good. So my intake was quite high, but it was lower strength, and that shouldn't have done me any harm. It probably wouldn't have done. It was only when I went to London I started drinking the premium stuff. So the NHS are very worried about the amount of alcoholism in the country. It really is a crippling anxiety. Rachel, the anxiety, yeah, I have to agree there. The anxiety was the worst for me. Not the physical symptoms. I knew it was rough. I knew I was ill, very ill. But the anxiety was the thing that was, top of this. Look, boredom is luxury. Yeah, you're right there. When people say to me, "Do you not get bored being off the booze?" I said, "No, I'm busier than ever." And I said, being boring, right, is when you're in a hospital and you can't leave. Even if I wanted to discharge myself, I couldn't have left. I was so weak. It was a terrible feeling. It was a feeling of being... I'd gone from a 9 in a DD, fantastic news on the press interest. Thanks, DD. Yeah, I'll fill you in on that one. Um, I was so depressed in the hospital, and I couldn't get out of the hospital. I couldn't discharge myself. I was too weak. So I'd gone from being a person in of strength. I was a 999 man, the young copper in London. Now I was being looked after by people. I felt so vulnerable. When you drink, you feel very vulnerable. Thanks, Rachel. Appreciate that. You're so vulnerable that you can't look after yourself. I couldn't cook a meal. The reason I went to my parents after my first bout in hospital was because I couldn't look after myself. I was 57. I should be looking after them, not me. They shouldn't be looking after me. It was fucking terrible. And you don't want to get to that level, do you? You know? It's not going to do you any good. George, even Steve, when I packed the drink a while ago, I can't get any sleep. End up packing it. Any advice? George, there's a number in the description of the main videos. The last one I did tonight, give me a shout. Hello, Paul. I got took to the hospital years ago for 6 day vodka binge. I was having non-stop panic attacks, horrendous times. Yeah, panic attacks not good. I think we spoke about this the other day, Paul, didn't we? When you're in big shops in B&Q's, Asda's, I went to Asda today, and it doesn't bother me. I can walk around Asda for 10 hours now. I couldn't win an Asda. I used to walk in the doors and say, God, it's so huge. And I couldn't focus. Or at a big supermarket, I couldn't get on a bus. I couldn't get a taxi. Obviously couldn't fly. I mean, that anxiety came in a long time before I really hit the drink heavier. I stopped flying for a while. We used to drive through Italy. Well, fucking driving for hours and days. Just got on a plane. I could fly everywhere. Fly all over the place. I've flown 4 times this year. I've probably been to Europe and things. So I'm fine now with everything. I even went up the Eiffel Tower on March the 7th and proposed to her. The Eiffel Tower, I used to be frightened to stand the step ladder. Seriously. I would go on one of these fairground rides when I was a kid and scream. You know what I'm saying? Clara, I used to have really bad anxiety. Multitude of symptoms. Yeah, the underground, especially, Clara. The underground, terrible. Maria, why don't hangovers put people put off? Hangovers? No, they don't. Why don't things? That's a good point. Why aren't we put off drinking by all the things that go wrong with us? You know, if you did something every day, it was going to make you going to make you sick. But you keep doing it. Of course you wouldn't. I'm just going to reiterate this. If you benefit from the channel, please hit the super chats button. It'll help me to help you, and we'll all help each other. Yeah, a good point that. Why do we keep doing it? Even though we know it's going to cause us hassle. It's the power of addiction. That's all that Maria, is it Maria? Maria. I just want to call you Maria. The power of addiction is all that consultant would tell me. He's a really clever guy. Obviously, he must be a clever guy. Be a liver transplant, bloody surgeon. And he said, "The power of addiction, Stephen. The power of addiction." That's how he spoke. And I thought, well, so what? What actually? What is it? What makes us do something? Thank me, Mari. Okay, Mari. Thank you, Mari. Very good point. So we put a hand on. Very rarely. Well, I cook, but I don't have a lot. I do a lot of stir fries now. Just say I put my Nick. It's shite being controlled by alcohol. So much hard work. It is hard work. It's a full-time job. Do you get paranoid? 100% paranoid. Yeah. So put a hand on the gas, right? Or on a pan. It's really hot. Bloody hell, I'm doing that. I got a blister, right? You don't do it again, do you? Until about 3 months later when you've forgotten. Every day I was ill with alcohol. For years and years and years, every day I had panic attacks. For years and years and years, I was taking sick leave. I was taking early annual leave. And Tom, Saturday nights are the worst. Good. It's nice to wake up Sunday, free. And Mario asked this question, so we'll go back to that. Why do we keep harming ourselves? I don't know. Does anybody know? We wouldn't. Caroline, thank you very much for that donation. Beautiful. That's really good. It all helps. This is fantastic to get these. I feel appreciated, and I appreciate all of you. I really do, because you really help. You help me as well. And we're going to help each other, and we're all going to be sober. No one's going to relapse on this channel. That's the goal. No one's going to relapse, because relapse is a killer. And that's the terrible, terrible part of it all. And if we can stop one person from going back, then we've done a good job. will save many lives here, 100%. If I'd had this facility years ago, I would have stopped drinking. I would have pushed the doctors. I wish the government would ban alcohol advertising. Well, yeah, you're probably right there, because they've done up the cigarette. If I had this facility years ago, I would have pushed the doctors to give me the pills. I only went twice. I was so weak in the head. I'd have pushed them. I've got somebody else to push them. Well, I've got one of you to push them. And I would have also pushed for some sort of better advice than I had, other than cut down. Because that's all they're doing. I know lots of problem drinkers who I speak to regularly now, and they'll say, "Hi, Nick," who will say, "I went to the doctor and said taper off. I tapered off for a bit and I went back on it." You need to know, you need to get help. And you really get help is be very, very vociferous and very, very, not angry, but make your point. Your point's got to be strong, got to come across strong, and it's got to be, this is what I want, Didi, George O'Neill, I find breathing techniques helps me, Buddhist practice. I've heard that before, Didi, the Buddhist thing. I might have a look into that. My partner's into a bit of that sort of kind of breathing and peace and all that. I'm not being flippant about that, I just don't know enough about it, so, get positive about it. So we can push this channel and get it big, then we can help people. And can you imagine if somebody says to us, "Oh, it's a group, you saved my life." Helps calm your mind, Didi, yeah? I bet it does. Yeah, I've heard it's good. There's actually a place in Gosforth, where I live, near Newcastle, that has one of these, it says peace and mind places or something you can go and do. Maybe something like that. I might have a look at it, because it could be quite useful. Anything's useful. Any tool that can help us to overcome this dreadful illness is good, isn't it? Somebody said to me today, "Do you never get bored of this?" I said, "I could speak for 1,000 years about this, because I'm passionate about it, and I believe you're passionate about it as well. You wouldn't be here otherwise, would you? You'd be sitting in the pub." And isn't it such a good life, because there's a few of us on here who've been sober for a while, isn't it such a good life for us to be sober and to be able to help people? You know what I'm saying? Hello, Sean, I'm good, thanks. Very good. Do you remember arresting drunk people? I'm sure that's a big part of the job. Don't trip. 100% remember that. Yeah, especially Central London, because Central London is all public order, isn't it? It's all people on the piss, as it were. It's always like public order, people fighting. You don't go on a demonstration without a drink. You know what I'm saying? So was it? Yoga helped me. I've not tried yoga. I've heard it can be very beneficial. Really good. But there's lots of facets to this, and there's lots of reasons why we should stop. The main reason you should stop is, do you want to live a good life? I mean, I've used this expression a lot. It's not just adding life to your years to your life. It's adding life to your years. So when you're 50, 60, 70, you can still get an aeroplane. You can still, perform at your best. You can still be productive. You can still help people. I mean, the years that I was disabled by drink, I wasn't able to help my daughter. I missed her graduation in Manchester. I missed her moving. Yeah, Tom, the gym is fantastic for me. It's only $19.99, the gym where I am, for a month, a month. And guys at the pub say, "Oh, I don't want to go there, I can't afford it." Fucking hell, spend 100 quid on drink over a weekend, over a night, and that sort of thing, Hi Richard, how are you doing? Nick, off to bed, mate, right? Catch you soon then, Nick, and thanks for that night, and thanks for your donation. Get a hobby to stop boredom. Perfect, Stephen, yeah, we need to do something to take your mind off it. Daily relapse is to be expected, the courage to try again, promote those to several attempts to. DD, the same as me. I relapsed many times, for different reasons. Not because of craving for alcohol. What happened with me was, this is what happened to me. I had one. I didn't have a craving for one. I just had one because I was going on a social event or having a date or something. I have one, and then the craving would not the craving. Then I would have two. If I didn't have the first one, I wouldn't have the second one. So this is another message. Don't have the first effing drink, because that's the one that will kill you, because that'll lead to more. You have one, then you have two, then you have three, then you have four, then you have 5 and 6, 7, and so it goes on. And that's where I'm going to bed too. Glad to meet you all. Thanks, Clara. So let's build on this. Let's get strong. There's a really strong current of good people in here already, even 4 days now. And, and like I say, if you hit this super chat thing, make it bigger, make it stronger. I'll get some new equipment, maybe a bigger camera, that sort of thing, and make the videos better, make this better, and then maybe look at hiring some sort of place where we can talk and get people on stage. Why not make it like that, you know? Once I get the press involved, that'll be the key. I've had 2 chances with Sky News and just missed out because of the scheduling on the stories. The one that was going to be scheduled this weekend was about time lost at work. And when she rang me, the editor rang me and she asked me about my story and said, is time lost? So I said, well, a lot of the guys I work with, it wasn't particularly time lost, it's productivity lost, isn't it? How efficient are you when you're hungover? I mean, how did anybody actually go in on a Monday and feel really good when they used to drink? Because I felt terrible, and I felt even worse when I've been on holiday. And you go back and think, God, there's going to be all this stuff to deal with, you know, all these case files and all that sort of thing. And the self-medication, alcohol is a huge problem. I did it for 25 years now, proper medication. Good, that's really good. Congratulations on getting sober. Yeah, that's what I did. I self-medicated with alcohol. And that's when it killed me. I used to plan on the Fridays and you would be fucked Monday. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you plan ahead. Every little thing. If somebody asked me to pick them from the airport tomorrow at 7 o'clock, I could pick them up, no problem. If somebody asked me to do that a few years ago, I would have said no. If they'd asked me to do it next Wednesday, I would have said possibly. But I have to plan the next few days. So it's like a military operation, drinking, isn't it? You've got to plan ahead as to what you're going to do, where you're going to be, what time you're going to get there. Can you drink? Can you have a sneaky drink? Can you say that the car's broken down? So you meet them in a taxi. There's lots of extra expense to drinking, you know. It's not just the alcohol itself, it's the fact you buy drinks for the people, maybe. I didn't do a lot of that, mate. Or you buy food you're never going to eat, you just leave it. You can't bother to eat the food. Or you feel so ill, you just can't be bothered, throw it in the bin. Planned my holidays to the hotel was next to the off licence. That's incredibly good, that, as for a drinker. Richard had 6 calls with a mate. He's sleeping rough in America now. Well, yeah, there you go. Yeah, the planning on holiday. I don't know if you've seen the one about Greece I did. I went to Greece with someone I met. And I was a heavy drinker. She didn't know I was a drinker. And the plane was delayed for 4 hours. I got in the right mess. But I managed to get, when I get to a resort, I used to think, what I'll do is, I'll find a shop, identify shops, you know, I can go to. And sometimes I went to the hotel and didn't, Deborah, 7th of March, engaged. Used to find shops, right? And I don't know why I'm whispering. Find shops that I would get beer from, I could sneak out to and all that, you know. Became really devious. Really devious. It was worse than being a detective, and I was in the police. But yeah, my life, when I think back, the more I do this, the more I think about incidents that have happened. It was every day something was chaotic in my life because of alcohol. Every single fucking day, something happened. It was really bad. When I look back, there were some funny moments, but really, most of it was bloody dire. I spent a lot of time in the Red Lion and Kingly Street, behind Hamleys. But I spent more time there than I did at home. So, well, between work and home, you know. It was just work, pub, a little bit of home. It should be the other way around, shouldn't it? Caroline, just been in England. What do you think of it? Did you? I felt rough all the time towards the end of my drinking. Yeah, you do. You feel rough, did you, all the time? You never. I think I was in a permanent hangover, permanent withdrawal for years. Took my ex-wife? No, not really. She's moved on. It's 25 years ago, a long time. Got married too young, like a lot of people know. But I mean, the message tonight really is to look after yourself. Try and focus on getting a hobby. That's very positive. All look at positive things, because alcohol is a very negative thing, you know. It'll never do you any good. Alcohol causes hair loss. Is that a joke? It actually does cause hair loss, but I'm 63 now, not 23. Just because I've had the car roof down, so I've blown my hair back. And it's the angle of the camera. I love Wales, somebody said. I used to go to Wales as a kid, that was quite good. A lot of heavy drinkers from Wales. We used to drink with them in the West End of London, always fighting. That's another thing, all the crime is caused by alcohol, isn't it? No, I'm serious. Because my hair Yeah, it does cause a hair loss. Yes, it does. Drinks stripped me of my hobbies. It became my hobby. Well, yeah, it takes over your life, and it's horrendous. It's horrendous to have your life taken over by a substance which is going to kill you. You've got to be. I tell you what you've got to be. This is what my mother said as well. She's a very wise woman, my mother. I used to think she was a bit daft, but she's still around. 1994. She was saying you have to have a completely different life, right? If you can get that into your head, when you are a sober person, you have to get in your head, this is going to be a new life. It's going to be different, and you're probably not like it at first because there's going to be a lot of changes. You know, your social circle will change. The time you spend doing other things will change. You'll have a full turn around in your mind and your body. And it's the first year or two, it seems a long time that when you're drinking, are quite difficult. And I still feel a little bit, talking about just cause problems at work. So when you get sober, you'll feel different, and you still will feel a bit edgy, a bit nervous, maybe a bit paranoid, and a bit like, oh, I shouldn't be here, a bit of panic, What inspired you to do YouTube? About 40 months ago, I was talking to my partner she's very ambitious, Brighton, funny enough, and we sat overlooking the sea. She said, what are you going to do with your life? Because I've been retired for a while from the police. What are you good at? And I said, well, she knew about my drinking habits. Quite early in the relationship, about 6 months after I met her. I said, well, I was good at being good as a policeman. I was very good in the police. I used to love that job. I found it easy. And I was also very good at drinking, but I've stopped now. And I said, I can't go back in the police. I'm too old. Wouldn't have me anyway. And they said, why don't we start a channel off then? We'll start with Instagram, and that's how it came about. It's amazing, really. And that's why I'm here with you good people, and we're all helping each other. As I said before, if you benefit from the channel, please hit the super chats button and let's grow the channel. Let's get some more research done and keep it big. I have never been, Stephen. I have never been nicked. Well, a lot of people haven't been nicked. In the minority there. Most people haven't been nicked. But where's I on that one? Yeah. Keep growing the channel. Look at your life differently. Charlene phoned in 2 days sober. Brilliant. That's good. So you've got to be a deep thinker here and think, what do you want out of life? You can either sit in a boozer, right, with your so-called mates and get pissed all the time, or just have a steady drink and shorten your life, or you can really grab it and get sober and have a different life. And that's the thing. Caroline, I don't think alcoholism is genetics, to be honest, no. Baby Joe, I know panic stage at 10 p.m. Yeah, is that because you want to drink? Yes, you need a different life, you need a different mindset, and you have to have an ambition. What you need to stop drinking for life is a focus, a reason to stop. Is strong incentives to get strong, strong incentives to live. Because when I was drinking, I didn't give a toss about tomorrow. Now I love tomorrow, although it's not even here. Do you get my point? And I'm planning ahead all the time. If I'd felt like this when I was in the police, I'd have made a very, very senior rank. I did have a little bit of rank, but I'm sure it was pulled back. The retching in the morning was awful, occasionally vomiting. It was diarrhea, I did all that. And then Dede's brought up a good point here. The retching, I used to cough up bile, and I'd try and have another drink to try and make me feel. I used to shake over the sink and whatnot, just coughing up bile. There was nothing in my stomach and bits of blood in it. Then I'd find a drink. I'd always have lots of drink in the cupboard because I was frightened of running out. And then I'd have a drink, and I would just regurgitate that as well, straight away, because my body didn't want it. Then I'd just sit down and try and gather my thoughts a bit, and maybe lie down again and just tip a bit of alcohol into my mouth. I'll tell you a story about the shakes. I had the shakes terribly when I'd been on an all-inclusive holiday. Went for 7 days to Ventura. My daughter was 2, so that would have been 29 years ago. And I was a heavy drinker then. And I've never been all-inclusive. And I never did another one. But I just drank all the time. Bit off topic. What is that on the wallpaper? It's just wallpaper. It's not books, it's wallpaper. If we put in the same effort into yeah, work. We lose a lot of man hours drinking, don't we? So I went to this Fuerteventura, and there was 3 lads were there from Birmingham. They were just sitting there drinking. They've been there a week. So I thought, well, I'm just going to do what they do, even though I had a wife and a child. And obviously it's free booze. I thought, it's free booze, all inclusive, isn't it? I got absolutely hammered every day. And when I went back to work the next day on the underground, I could hardly stand up on the underground. And I had to go in for half a day. Take half a day's annual leave. So I worked from 10 to about 1, 10 to 2 or something. I went to the pub and I felt absolutely dreadful. I mean, really bad. I was completely red because I'd not used any sunscreen. I'd been too drunk. Not too drunk, but just couldn't be bothered. And loads of arguments with my wife. Carry on the whole day. And I went to the pub and I was so bad I couldn't pick the glass up. How many alcohol-free Guinness do you typically have? Went out with your fiancée? Just a couple, Andrew. She doesn't drink very much. We normally go for meals and she rarely drinks. So I couldn't drink the glass up. And this friend of mine, he said, if you use your right hand, no, it was right hand dominant, use your left hand. It shouldn't be shaking as much. I couldn't hold it with either hand, and I had to dip my head into the glass to try and get in. And 2 or 3 before I went back home again. And I've never ever felt as rough as that in my life. It's full 7 days on the drink, all inclusive. 8 in the morning to whenever. Really bad. It was an incredibly bad time. And that's what it can come down to. Your life can become completely ruined. If you get off, you can't stop. You've got to stop. So if you can't stop, you've got to get help. But a lot of people I know can stop, but they start again. And that's what I'm saying on here. We have to get to the point where we can help people to beat relapsing. Because once you relapse, you're back to square one. Doesn't matter how long you've been off it, If you start a relapse, then you're going to go back. And the kindling effect, which is worth Googling, the kindling effect, will make you very, very ill. And I think that's what happened to me. Because when I went to the hospital, I went in for 2 years. I spoke to one of the surgeons. I said, "What, does that 8 years off help me?" He said, "It might help a little bit." He said, "But your damage was done when you were young." How they know that? Maybe from the scans or whatever. I don't know. But I had no other issues than the liver. Some people have pancreatitis, have liver problems, have all sorts of things. So he said, as long as you stop drinking, your liver function will be normal, right? They had to put a little stent in, open up the portal vein. Once that was done, the liver started to work better. There's always be damage there. But if you don't drink, you'll have normal liver function. Now, a lot of people, including a friend of mine who's 10 years younger, had that advice given. And he's drunk again, he's jaundiced and he's going to die soon. You've got to stop drinking. Once you've stopped, that's really the easy part. The most difficult part is to stay sober. And anybody on here who's been sober for a while will tell you that. Because they're not particularly triggers. You might think, oh, I'll just have one. I'll just have one. Why do you want to have one? There's no point, is there? Like Liam Gallagher said, what's the point of having one? You don't go for one. You don't go in the pub and say, oh, how are you doing? I'm fine, the car's broken down, goodbye. You want to be there all the time, don't you? You want to have 100. If you drink, you don't just go for 1 pint. And that's the issue, isn't it? Alcohol postponed anxiety. Yeah, horrendous, the anxiety. And the anxiety is one of these things which can only be helped by cutting down, getting off it. I know I keep saying cutting down. It's the doctors who I speak to say, oh, I've got to cut down. And I've got a couple of friends with GPs, and they said that's their advice, because they can send people to these alcohol and drug centres, but they're so overwhelmed. They're so overwhelmed. It's horrendous. If you want to stop, you've got to want to stop. But when you've stopped, you've got to want to be sober and fall in love with sobriety, to the point where if somebody said to me, you can go back for 2 days of what you were like in 2019, I'll give you $1 million, I wouldn't do it, because I felt so bad. I had no life. An alcoholic's life is barely in existence, is it really? You have no quality of life. I got a friend who's the same age as me. He had 2 strokes within a short period of each other, and then he fell over. But he said he wasn't drunk, he was drunk. Broke his hip, and now he'll never leave the house. And he'll die soon, because you just go, well, wait, his heart will give up. And that's not good, is it? So anybody got any horror stories from drinking? Because mine was nearly death, basically. But no doubt other people will have horror stories. But this guy I know, he's a goner, and he was all right a few years ago. No, he just wouldn't stop. If somebody tells you to stop, and they know what they're talking about, you've got to stop, haven't you? Because if you don't, then there's no point living. You know, you're going to kill yourself. It's simple as that. People think they can give up alcohol on their own, but you have to ask for help. You do have to ask for help. Yeah, good point, Graham. You know, you've got to have some assistance in this because it's a complicated thing, isn't it? It's a very complex thing, alcoholism. It's not an easy thing to crack at all. It's not good. So I say, if you benefit from the channel, please look at the super chat, donate if you can. I've also got an ebook. I must mention this ebook. It's only $5.99, right? It's a good guide. I've heard from people who've thought about relapse and read the book, and they'll bring them back. Okay, I do one-to-one mentoring as well. It's only one-off payment, and you can get support from me. I've got a few people say I'm at the airport. I fancy a drink. Don't do it. You know. I've got one guy. The only time he drinks is when he's Can you do a feature video on the feelings of the NHS to help alcoholics and patient available? Yeah, I can do. Yeah, I've read British Medical Journal paper on that. The NHS. So you know, people will text me and say, "I fancy a drink." This guy only drinks when he's on the airplane because he gets bored. He doesn't drink at home, and he gets pissed on the airplane. Yeah, this chap just mentioned NHS. First point of contact. People who are on drugs. There's no difference between alcohol and drugs. It's all the same. But people on hard drugs, heroin, cocaine, maybe, they get a lot more help than alcoholics. 70% of drug addicts get some sort of first contact help. Well, with with alcohol, it's less than 1% in most areas. Scotland is better than the rest of the UK, apparently. I don't know what you think about the pricing policy up there, but you know, the pricing policy's helped. And I just think, well, we can only do it ourselves. We can build a big community here. We can stop ourselves. That's what we've got to do. I might relapse. You might. Who knows? Somebody can come into life and trigger, but you need somebody to ask. You know, I'm going to think about relapse. Get me off it, because people need to pull you back, and it's a mental thing then. Because once you stop, it's all in here, isn't it? Everything is in here. Rachel, thank you for your wonderful words of wisdom. Thanks, Rachel. Have a good day. Have a good rest of the weekend. And when you start, it's just in here. It's up to yourself to make it your priority, not to relapse. That's the main thing, isn't it? If you can do that, you want to watch, haven't you? And keep out the boozer. I'm saying keep out the boozer. I'll go in and have a Guinness Zero, but I've got it under control, I think. What you've got to do is you've got to focus on yourself, your health, because your health is your wealth. And I know people who will say to me, "Oh, I'm only 45, I'm 50, I'm only 60, I'm not as bad as you, I don't drink as much as him in the corner." But when you're in hospital, then you wish you hadn't had that last drink. Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? You really will. And I just think the times I've sat in that hospital bed and just thought, or laid in hospital bed, Rachel, wake up early, that's why you wake up in the morning, feel fresh, incredible feeling. Isn't it good, you know, to feel good? When you're in hospital, you really regret this drinking carry on. You really will. It might seem like a good idea tomorrow when it's lovely and sunny. There are a lot of people who have relapsed today. I know they have. Because of the weather. But it can happen at Christmas time as well. We'll keep going. We'll have 1,000 people by Christmas. We'll be on here because we need. That's another big trigger time, Christmas. It's going to be a trigger time for a lot of people now because the schools break up next week. A lot of people will be heading on holiday. So we'll do a couple of lives on holiday. Dangers of being on holiday and the relaxing thing, the fact you're not seen by anybody. You feel like, oh, I'm not being watched now. You know what I mean? And you feel like, oh, I'll have a drink now. But you can't have a drink because it's going to kill you. And a lot of people will be tempted by that, tempted to go back, you know. And there's so many different reasons people drink. So you need to be strong here. You need to be strong physically, obviously, for your health. And that's why I promote the gym and eating healthily. If you get your mind sorted first, then you're a winner. And if you get the first year under your belt, you've got a good chance of staying sober for another few years. And then forever. That's got to be your goal. Your goal has to be, I want to feel good every day for the rest of my life. Right? I want to feel good for every day for the rest of my life. That's the goal, yeah. So I got the pub from being your best wishes, mate. Stay safe. I'm going to wrap this up soon because we've been going 75 minutes. Unless anybody else got anything to add, we'll do another one tomorrow if you want. If you let me know what sort of time is best for you all. I think this is a good time because people are lonely at this time of night because it's just dark and there's nobody about, and it seems to work. And it's one of these things where you sat around all day and have a bit of a boring day. And with mental health key, 100%, 100% mental health. Putting a smile on my wife's face, excelling in work, financially stable. That's good. Look, yeah, that's good. It's all good, isn't it? Everything you do with sobriety, everything that's linked to sobriety, everything that's linked to sobriety is positive, and everything that's linked to drinking is negative. There's not one good thing comes out of a drunk person or a person who drinks regularly. Nothing at all. And all this nonsense about, a couple of glasses of wine a day, rubbish. Good night to everybody. If I go to the pub and drink water, no one talks to me. Fair enough. Just walk out, Frank. Look after yourself. Because the people you're hoping are going to talk to you will be dead in 2 or 3 years' time, or they'll be disabled. Do you want to be running around fit? Not running around. I mean, I can't run now. But you know what I'm saying? Living a good life, or do you want to be stuck on a Zimmer frame or a bloody mobility scooter going to Wetherspoons every day? Not for me. Now, I was very close to that. I was very close to living in the streets. Fortunately, I had a little bit of cash for my pension. Neil, good night. Good lad, I'll see you tomorrow. And thank you very much for everybody who's been on. And thank you very much for all the people who've donated. Some very special people here, and my hat goes off them. I'm very indebted to that, people like that. And, good to see. Good, clean fun. Commendations to the channel. Thanks, Richard. Good live stream. Thanks, Baby Joe. We'll do more. The more people will get involved in here, the more we'll get more lively. We can make it light-hearted. It's a very serious subject, but there's no need to behave like it's all doom and gloom, because it isn't doom and gloom. It was for me 6 years ago, and now life's fantastic. I'm doing that like Eric Morgan, man. Let's make light-hearted conversation out of this very serious subject if we can. We've got to mix and match it. That's the best way to do it. And you can come on here and talk about anything you want. Anything you like. I'll go to every Newcastle match and I only drink pop pre-match. Just pop. Yeah, exactly, yeah. You feel better, Paul. You go to the match and you feel good, you're sober. At least you've seen some of the game. And you haven't been nipping to the fucking toilet. Remember, I don't know if you... Remember, Paul, you're about similar to my age, about 10 years younger, aren't you? Going to the Newcastle match to Gallagher end, my dad's team, people were pissing down your fucking leg, weren't they? The football matches. Jesus. Thanks, Doug. Shane, I've been sober for almost 9 months. Never at all good. Keep going. I'm glad I've helped you, Shane. If you want to buy the book, there's a link in some of the descriptions. Keep the book by your side, well, keep it on your phone, because it's a good reference guide, that book. And it'll do you the world. It's only $5.99, the price of one drink. Yeah, those football matches, Newcastle, my dad used to take me when he was a policeman, used to get in free. And that wasn't the reason he took me. just what I was thinking about. Good night, Tom. Yeah, Paul, it was crazy, wasn't it? I don't know if you remember that match. You might not have done. It was 4-4. Nottingham Forest one was a pitch invasion. Jesus Christ. You might have been a little bit young then, because I was just a kid. It was a hell of a match. But I've never forgotten my dad lift me onto the concrete stand thing, above from all these rivers of, wee coming down after everyone was been on a drink. What football matches then, but it was just, just like dinosaurs, weren't they, really? It was horrendous. Right, I'll wrap it up now. Good night, all. Congratulations to everybody who's been on here. Congratulations to everybody who's sober. Those who aren't, we'll get you there. And the main message, as is every night going to be, don't relapse and don't have the first drink, no matter what you're feeling like. If you've got problems, and my number's on most of the descriptions, just text me and I'll get back to you at some point. Okay, there's a lot of good people here, a lot of good and honest folk. Thanks, Luke. I'll speak soon. And Luke, cheers, Paul. A lot of good people here who will help you. Night, Shane. And that's what we're here for, to help each other get stronger. And I'll tell you this now, another month, this is going to be massive. You'll really enjoy it. And I'll get something set up where we can talk to each other on a frame type thing, if I can get my fiance to show me. There's a way we do like a Teams meeting or something. We'll get lots of people involved, if that makes sense. There will be a way to do that. I'll do some research into that, because it's very early days, this, but we're going to make it fantastic. Thanks again, and I'll see you all soon. Be safe.